Hi everyone, thank you for watching my YouTube channel. I'm Mabu Nakagawa. Today, I'm gonna be presenting Poor Superpower Japan. Okay? Poor can be described as individuals or communities who have low income, limited access to resources, and struggled to meet their basic demands for food, shelter, clothing, and healthcare. But to be honest, I don't think Japan is such a terrible country as North Korea, Middle East Asia, and other developing nations in Africa. Then, why do you think I call my home country, beloved home country, Poor Japan? Today, I'm going to go ahead and overview Japanese economy and its related governmental policy as to what's going on with the yen depreciation against the US dollar and how Japan is going to be able to redeem our last 30 years. I'll give you an update on that, and if you are interested in Japanese breaking news, please stay tuned with my YouTube channel. I always welcome you by all means. Sounds all cool for you? Great. Now, let's go jump into it, shall we? Ever since the start of the last 30 years in Japan in the early 1990s, we have experienced a prolonged economic stagnation and slow growth in Japan at the same time. It means we have been behind the global business competition and the trend, as I presented in the last video with Toyota versus BYD, for example. Please rewind it if you haven't watched it yet. By the way, for those who are not sure about Japan's last 30 years, let me just explain and have a few minutes to explain, okay? Apparently, it's quite difficult to describe exactly what's been lost in Japan over the past 30 years without specific indicators or parameters. Japan has still undergone various changes and developments over the same period. It might include tradition, cultural practice, demographic shift, and other changes in political landscape. Overall, we have many, but in terms of business, there were so many governmental limitations, regulations, and other negative concerns that blocked Japan's economic growth. But nevertheless, we haven't even acknowledged we are being so poor, because we are fulfilled with plenty of food, pure water, clothing, and most of people had a house throughout our lifetime. Yeah, which is great. Yeah, Japan should be called superpower, right? Yeah, if you meet all of the needs to take care of yourself for your living, you never think you are so poor. Well, you may not feel you are wealthy, but at least you are never ever out of cash. Correct? Yeah. In my 20s, back in the United States, by the way, I only had 500 boxes in cash in my pocket. I was completely out of cash, but for some reasons, I managed it. Yeah, I could manage the cost of my livings. Don't misunderstand, okay? I didn't do crime. Yeah, I wasn't a pimp, okay? I was a very diligent and pure international student. I asked my friends to get the cash for my temporary use and pay them back later. Yeah, even though I was not a smart or wealthy student, I was happy. Yeah, because I was surrounded by my good friends. So, my friends were, so to speak, my asset, if I call them technically. My friendship was valuable for me. I was thinking I could be successful with my positive mind all the time, so I wasn't afraid of being poor. That means I'm not poor, right? This could be important as life satisfaction reflects what individuals deem to a relative to their quality of life, including concerns like employment, health, education, income, and how they spend their time, like caring for their parents and bringing up their children and stuff like that. But my life satisfaction was something else, like a human relationship and passion, challenging, and stuff like younger generation was dreaming of. Well, I always advise my younger people around me at the age of below my age to invest in themselves. Not to think about the stable income, health insurance, not to seek for easy money, social support from the government. I never advise young folks to get lazy and go for easy money. Yeah, definitely that's a stupid idea. That's absolutely a piece of crap, but they do not listen to me. because they were born under the generation of lost 30 years. They were scary of being poor. Yeah, they wanna have a great house, great life with a bunch of money, luxury stuff like Louis Vuitton, Lexus. I don't know, like something I can't afford. Yeah, so young people are believing cash can help them to release their stress. To some degree, same here. I understand them, but they tend to have them in cash and deposit it their banking account. No cash out. Yeah, they hold the cash without doing anything. Do you still think that's a stupid idea? Yeah. It is, right? Yeah, Japanese traditional companies, I mean stereotyped companies in Japan, tend to hate spending their net income after they increase sales profit because they are also scary of chronic economic slowdown. Just in case an emergency like a financial crisis in 2008, tsunami earthquake in 2011, they want to pull some cash enough to be able to stay patient in finance, so they can avoid filing bankruptcy. Japan has trauma not to have the same mental breakdown. That's why we are getting so picky for great recessions. Yeah, I understand them to some degree. I understand it. Yeah, it's worse. Recalling Japan experienced repeated economic growth during the 1980s, but there was no corresponding increase in life satisfaction at present. From a point of view in terms of global indicators like GDPs, it said that Japan is going to be ranked down to the fourth this year because Germany is quickly catching and maybe poised to overtake it in the coming year. Is there something Japanese people here need to worry about? Not really. Remember when Japan slipped back to the third spot in 2010, replaced by China? It was not surprising. Yeah, given that China has a population 10 times larger than Japan, China was posting phenomenal growth at the time. Well, I'm so ashamed of telling the truth with you, but I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't even know the fact that 10 years ago, Japan's GDP was ranked in third. I knew it was higher, but to be honest, I didn't care. Yeah, GDP is an important indicator to identify how Japan's economy is growing or decline. But in any case, for the normal people like me, it's just a matter of the governmental stuff. Yeah, so not an individual responsibility that we have to take care. Yeah, even if Japan falls to the fourth or fifth, we'll still be at a high developed, rich economy with the highest standards of living and high GDP per capita, right? Yeah, it's just we used to be growing rapidly, and then now we are mostly stuck in business and economy. That means it's not my fault. We are making money under capitalism. Yeah, I don't care about international conflict between Russia and Ukraine or domestic concerns like aging population, shortage of labor force. Most of the people here do not care about that. Rather than that, we do care about the price inflation because it's directly linked to every single one of our life. Yeah, there are many factors that contributed to price inflation in Japan. Yeah, older people tending to spending less could have led to a weaker domestic demand. That's one of the easy findings why it happens. Another one is could be triggered by expansionary monetary policy. Yeah, in response to the economic stagnation between the 1990s and early 2000s, yeah, the Bank of Japan implemented multiple rounds of quantitative easing, which involved injecting a large amount of liquidity into the economy. This increased the money supply led to rising price as one of the major reasons why Japan's economy was rattled. Yeah, the Bank of Japan The Bank of Japan's surprise policy twisted a lot of the global market due to its unexpected nature and potential impact on current exchange rates and exports. It remains to be seen how effective this new policy framework will be in stimulating economic growth in Japan. Japan is too slow to improve worker productivity using advanced IT or network technology. We are too slow to invest in growing digital industry like a semiconductor, display, smartphone, and software, and also advent of strong competitors like South Korea, China, and even Taiwan kept pushing Japan over the past decades. They put too much pressure on, so Japan had so much hard time for many important decision makings. I've already mentioned an overview of lost studies in the beginning of that video, but I have outlined some attributes on what actually contributed to price inflation and how Japan was being shifting their social structure and how Japan is going to be able to face its structural changes such as aging population and sluggish productivity and growth, which constrained economic growth potential. If you enjoyed my perspectives in the video, please stay tuned with the second part of this episode, okay? So that I can give you more detail on it. And also, if you become a big fan of Mana College, please subscribe as an enrollment. Okay, tuition is free, of course. I always welcome you. Now, let's go through each one of the attributes here. Okay, so up here, I believe you guys all are aware that the depreciation of the yen is a big concern to study Japanese economy. As the value of the yen decreases against the US dollar, it increases the cost of imported goods and raw materials. This leads to higher prices for these items and impacting overall inflation levels. For overseas people, it's good things to travel to Japan and spend more money because the value of yen is especially depreciated. Yeah, now that the exchange rate is 151 Japanese yen per dollar. Yeah, that means if you buy a bottle of Coke at $1, the value of the Coke in Japan is 50 cents or something. Yeah, that's pretty good deal for you, right? Yeah, but for me, living in Japan, I gotta pay more. If I buy a bottle of the same Coke at 100 Japanese yen, I pay 50 yen more. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I can't go abroad forever because it's too expensive for me. Yeah, it makes sense to you, right? However, what happened is that we are now used to living in a weak yen society. Ever since 10 years ago, the exchange rate against the US dollar has gone up and up dramatically, and other countries such as Turkey and Argentina have experienced its similar currency collapse with Turkish lira and Argentina peso respectively. The world people got so confused, and especially Turkish lira was the worst currency collapse ever. I think that's a dishonest example of the governmental policy implemented in Turkey, and in Japan now we are just about to have the same dishonor because the value of yen is being damaged so badly. The weak yen is considered as same as the Turkish lira and the Argentina peso because of the low worker wages and long work hour lead to low consumer spending and low fertility. GDP per capita, the value of the currency and the global competition, and relatively getting down and down over the past 30 years after the bubble burst in the early 1990s. That's why we call this phenomenon the lost 30 years. Look, you know what? I was wondering why the Japanese government didn't do anything for me. Yeah, for us. Why they left it alone for 30 years. Actually, that's not true. Yeah, the Japanese government had struggled to investigate it and analyze the root cause of the bad economy circumstance during 2010s. People are always complaining Japanese economy is so bad, stupid politicians made Japan more stupid. Yeah, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe screwed up Japanese economy, but that's not the root cause of corruption, right? Yeah, I think we can clarify a root cause by illustrating and reviewing the era in 2010s. Here, I would like to show you the two major political events that dramatically changed the entire economy in Japan. One is called the expansionary monetary easing. The other one is the Cabinet Personnel Bureau. What are these two specific politics about? Yeah, what triggered poor superpower Japan? I think the Bank of Japan and ministry and mass media didn't work together so well. So each one of them didn't function at maximum. If I conclude the answer, so the first policy was basically aimed to stimulate its economic activity and increase demand to spend more money. This is typically done by the central banks such as the Federal Reserve in the United States. Japan is under the strong hold of American control, so so I think they did it. So expansionary monetary easing may sound too complicated for you. It may be all Greek to you, but if I just summarize it, I can just tell you simply that it is a policy nearly leading to the yen depreciation. In the first round, the Bank of Japan estimated to lower interest rates as lowered borrowing costs so that the consumers can spend more money and business investment. Also, central bank engaged in quantitative easing with buying governmental bonds and other securities from the market, injecting money into the economy and increasing money supply and cash flow. I'm going to talk more about expansionary monetary easing in the second chapter of the video. Okay, thanks for watching.